Hello, hello. Welcome back, everybody, to this week's episode here on the podcast. This is our TGIM segment. Thank goodness it's Monday. And if you're new here, I'm your host, Nicole. I lead the Monday calls and I lead our guest episode calls. And then every Thursday, Kayla, my business partner, we're the two that own Repurpose, we come together and do our segment called Biz Besties, where we chat a bit more about behind the scenes of building a seven-figure brand, what that takes, the hurdles, the challenges, what we see trending happening in the online space, and just all the ways that we support all of the incredible business owners that we get to work with. Today, specifically, I want to talk about something that I know many of you have requested, and it's something that I honestly think about a lot too, is always how to generate more revenue in our business, how to make more money. But specifically this time of year, thinking about 5 ways. I picked an arbitrary number. I mean, I could say 7, I could say 10. I'm sure I could keep coming up with a bigger and bigger list. I could have said the number one way, but I chose 5 because I feel like that will give you some options. I want to talk about the 5 ways that you, the business owner, can do to bring in more money before the end of the year, before the end of 2025. So we've got September, October, November, December. We'll be moving into the fourth quarter at the end of this month. There is a lot happening typically in the fourth quarter in the online space, in the brick and mortar space. It's just in the e-commerce space. It's like there's so much happening. When we go from Black Friday to Cyber Monday to the Christmas holidays, we could talk about consumerism and do we all need more and that sort of thing. But the fact of the matter is people are always buying. People are always buying. You and I are always buying. I'm sure if you went and looked at your credit card or debit card statement in the last month, you would see that you've purchased things. And probably not all necessities. We're human. And so don't let this idea, if you've heard people talking about like people are holding on to their purse strings a little bit tighter, or people aren't spending money like that, it's simply it's not a universal truth. There might be people, and there always has been and always will be, who are deciding to cut back or make different decisions in their spending, but there are still lots of people out there spending lots of money, buying lots of things. Like I heard, I'm pretty sure it was my friend Jackie say the other day that she likes to remind herself that there are Oprah like buyers and Oprah like spenders out there every day. People with Oprah status money who are always looking for the thing to solve their problem or provide them with their next transformation. And you just really have to learn how to speak to your ideal person who has money, who has what you want, who has money, and you have what they want. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about 5 ways that you could make more money in your business. That is the perk of being a business owner, of being an entrepreneur, is that you can just generate more money. You're not capped to a salary. Or a paycheck. So let's talk about that. Okay, so the very first idea that I think is often left unnoticed or as a missed opportunity as a way that you can make more money in your business and at any time, but again, we're specifically talking about now. And I don't want you to think like, oh, it's crunch time, there's not enough time, there's only 4 months. You could make hundreds of thousands of dollars in 4 months. I promise you that. We've talked about it a lot. Like our business generated $250,000 in the last quarter. $250,000, over $250,000 in the last quarter. You can do that too. You can generate lots of cash flow, lots of revenue in your business as well. So let's talk about the first way that you can generate more money. And I think it's possible for 99% of people listening to this is repurposing something, repackaging something that you already have. So for example, this is not thinking about what new thing could you create or invent or come up with or put out there and market test it and see if people even want it and know if it's a demand that you're filling. What if you took something that you previously sold in the past, a course or a bundle or a series of something, a product, whatever it might be, that you sold either a year ago, maybe it's a couple years ago, maybe it was even just a few seasons ago. And you kind of felt like, well, it didn't really go the way I wanted. So I kind of like put it in the vault or I put it away. or maybe you're thinking it's not what people want anymore. Whatever stories you might be coming up with, I want you to just consider that there is prime opportunity in taking something you already have and getting re-excited about it and renaming it. So, for example, let's just take, I want to use something in real time here, a real tangible example. Let's take the very first course that we ever created, Manifesting Money Masterclass. If I was to activate and take my own advice here and say, okay, how could we revamp that, right? How could we take Manifesting Money Masterclass and resell that? It is such an incredible product. Now we're over 700 women have taken this product. It's passive, we created it once. Well, actually, we created it 3 times. We re-evolved the videos and stuff, but they're still old. But let's just say we changed the title to be more aligned with our current audience. So let's just say now it was Manifesting Money Masterclass for business owners, Manifesting Money Masterclass for entrepreneurs. Now we're working with keywords of our audience, SEO for our audience, and we're speaking to our ideal audience and our ideal clients. Then we go through and we take all of the previous content. So our 4 pillars, our 4 beliefs in Manifesting Money Masterclass is money is energy is the number 1. Your beliefs around money is pillar 2. Getting clear on what you want to do with your money is pillar 3. And your worthiness around money is pillar 4. What if we took all of that and spun it on a business lens or on an entrepreneurial lens? And what if we played around with the price point being different? In the past, it used to be $189. What if we said, okay, it's been around, it's a proven product, it's passive. We could either put the price down, or we could say, since we're adding more value to it and the price point gets to reflect the value, we're going to put the price up a little bit. And we could create a whole launch campaign with all of the previous testimonials and social proof and the content that we already have for something that we did 5 years ago. So that's an idea. I think what I know to be true about revamping something and renaming something is that you'll get excited about when you did it the first time and not having to think up from scratch. And you're just like, oh, this is fun. This feels more aligned with me now. This wording or this messaging feels more in tune with who I speak to these days, because our audience is so different than who it was 5 years ago. Oh my gosh, we were just talking to a coach that we work with about how different our current audience is from a year ago. Like, who we've attracted in the last 4 or 5 months is so different. It's so aligned. Like, these business owners are so aligned. They are experts, they are industry leaders, they are go-getters, they are ambitious. They already have success in what they're doing. They need our support to turn it into a business of their own. This is accountants, this is counselors, this is doctors, this is clinic owners. These are people who've already had proven success in what they do. Now they work with us so that they can have their own business being the expert at what they do. So by getting excited about who our new audience is and rewording something we've already done that we know that works, we can take those past testimonials, that past social proof, and weave that into an updated sales page, to a launch campaign, to social media content. And then you're not starting from ground zero. And I just think that this gets missed by so many people because so many people get caught up in the past of what didn't work. Like, oh no, that launch flopped. And because that launch flopped, then the course sucks or the material sucks or whatever it might be. No, the launch might have flopped because you didn't show up 100% for it. The launch might have flopped because of your timing. The launch might have flopped because you weren't speaking to your target audience at the time. Like, don't rule out that the thing that you created a little while ago, it isn't incredible. It probably is. It just needs tweaking. And now that you are more advanced and more evolved in your business, which you would be if you're pulling something from the past and now it's a little bit more in the future, you're going to trust that you've grown. And now you get to pour in your new expertise and experience into this thing that you already initially loved. So I think that there is money left on the table from something that is already created. What if you give it a new fun title, a new tagline, zhuzh up the content, put your newest branding photos on there, and run a campaign and run the things that you know about launching now to this offer. Like, Kayla and I did not know what we know now about launching 5.5 years ago. I'm thinking like, this is brilliant. We should really revamp Manifesting Money Masterclass for business owners. Stay tuned. And just to close up this first option, because we have 4 more, is I want to just talk about the mindset piece here. I really want you to stop assuming that people don't want to hear this again. I want you to know that new people have found you. New people are finding you every single day. Old followers are in a different season of life, and people need repetition before they buy. So instead of overcomplicating it, what if you think about looking at what you already have and asking, how can I put this back out there? So that's the question for yourself. How can I go and put this back out there that feels really fun to you and fun to your audience? Okay, so that's one idea. The second idea is getting visible. I always say marketing is simple. It's being vocal and being visible. But the second idea is getting visible and making the ask. This is where your social media, your podcast, your email list, and in-person networking all come into play. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do that you're not doing enough of, if at all, is letting people know what you're up to, letting people know what you're offering, letting people know what it is that you have for sale. And I know it sounds so simple, but I just see so many women business owners, I see it inside of Aligned CEO Method, that hide their offer because they're afraid of being too salesy. And so they're posting stuff on their social media about their personal life and their pets and their kids, but they're not talking about what is for sale. You are a business owner. If you want to make money, you want to make sales, you got to ask for the sale. You got to put yourself out there. And so the mindset reframe here for this of a way to make money between now and the end of the year is putting your offers out there and telling people what's for sale and asking for the sale is I want you to remember that selling is being of service. People want to buy, So when you tell people about your service, about your program, your product, whatever it is, you are giving them the opportunity to step into transformation. And when you don't do that, you are taking that opportunity away from them. So I want you to ask yourself, can you commit to showing up at least 4 days a week, 4 days a week through the week from now until the end of the year and make the ask? I want you to notice how often we make the ask, how often we make the ask for people to join us in Aligned CEO Method, to join us in cash flow, to join us in a VIP day. I want you to notice how often I'll speak for myself. On stories, I talk about the opportunity to work with us in Aligned CEO Method. I know that people need to be warmed up. I know that people need to have that repetition before they buy. And I know that without asking people directly of how can I solve your problem? Are you willing to sit in the same spot this time next year as you are right now? Or can we help you do something about that? By being powerful in the ask, I'm going to get an answer. I'm going to get either a yes or a no or a not right now. And sometimes you'll get ghosted and you might say, well, that's not an answer. Well, I consider it a no for now, but I still circle back, right? So whether it is the call to action in your podcast, the PS at the end of your email, if it's on Instagram story or you go live or whatever it is, literally messaging past clients and saying, hey, I've got space for one more, or would love to have you back. Do you want to chat? Put yourself out there as a business owner and make the sale and see what happens. Okay. Here's the third idea, which I think is fun. And it's definitely for those of you who have that like manifesting generator energy where you're always wanting to create something new. But I want you to think about this. I want you to think about creating. So the third way you could make money before the end of the year is by creating a quick win offer. So creating something for your people that gives them a super quick win. Because we often think that the only way to make money in our business is by selling like our signature thing. So for example, like us, Aligned CEO Method. But sometimes what people need right now is a bite-sized experience. So that's why we introduce cash flow a couple of times a year. It is a quick win. We have had 100% success rate of people having quick wins in cash flow. It's 4 weeks. It's an accessible price point. It's an incredible community, and it is all sales. It's mindset and strategy of sales. So when people make a sale in that 4 weeks, learning from us and our method and what we do, and they get that quick win, it makes them excited about other ways they could work with us. It makes them excited to tell their friends about how they could work with us. And there is no better feeling than seeing people that you work with get a win, get results. You want to consider creating something that feels like a no-brainer for your people. This could be anything. This could be a 90-minute strategy session. This could be a Voxer or WhatsApp day with you. This could be a certain themed workshop, something that can bring in cash quickly, right? Strategy-wise, you want to think about how to bring in cash quickly. Mindset-wise, it's about trusting. It's about trusting that not everything has to be like huge and heavy to create impact. Quick wins can create impact for you and for your clients and momentum, and that's really exciting. Okay, the fourth way that you could bring in money between now and the end of the year. And so I would want you to like really get out your pen and paper right now and think about who would be the best person to do this with. But there is money in collaborations. Let me tell you, your network is your net worth. I've said that a bazillion times. And one of our favorite ways to expand and expand quickly is through collaboration. So I want you to ask yourself, who do you already know in your network that shares your ideal client, but offers something different? So you want to think about you to offer adjacent or complementary services to one another. Right? So for example, in our mastermind that we are in, we are always making the ask and putting the offer out there of like, who wants to do podcast exchanges? Who wants to have us in their community and you come into our community? And we just had somebody from our mastermind, Jim Carter III. You would have heard him on our podcast about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, talking all about AI. We had Jim in, and with the exchange that, we're getting to do stuff with him. And this is how we're working with other people in our mastermind. When you are in a mastermind, which Align CEO Method is a mastermind, this is your responsibility to get out there and make those networks, make those connections, make those collaborations happen. So we are figuring out like, how can we get in front of other people's audiences and we don't sell the exact same thing? And then how can they get in front of our audience and they don't sell the exact same thing? And both skill sets complement our ideal audience and their ideal audience. So I really want you to ask yourself right now, who in your network would you love to work with, who you would love to collaborate with, and make that happen? I want to shout out somebody who's in Align CEO Method that she does collaborations so well is Allie. So Allie's Instagram, you can follow her, is The Toddler Kitchen. So Allie Ellis is a dietitian. She is a mom of 2 young kids. She is a business owner, and she is the creator of The Toddler Kitchen, which is recipes and different ideas of how you can essentially feed your toddler and your family. And make sure that they're getting all that nutritional value, but also keeping it fun and playful. And I see her doing these epic collabs with people that then positions her in front of their audience. And what she has to offer their audience is not exactly the same thing that they would offer their audience. So she's bringing value now. She is contributing something to their audience. And in turn, more visibility for her. When you have more visibility, you have more watchers. And when you have more watchers, you can turn more watchers into more buyers. So maybe you could think about running a joint workshop with somebody or swapping email lists or do podcast guesting on each other's shows. I really want you to know that you have people in your network, and especially for those of you who are in masterminds, like Align CEO Method people who are listening to this, do not sit around and wait for the opportunity to come to you. You've got to get out there, start going through, asking people in your group who wants to collaborate, who wants to do these things. Here's what I can bring to your community or your show. Like, here's the value I provide. Who would like this? Yeah, you can't sit around and wait for this to happen. It doesn't work that way. You've got to put yourself out there. That's really what the mindset shift is here, is stop waiting for people to find you on their own. Abundance grows in community. And when you put yourself in other rooms with women who are also building, who are also making it happen, you do multiply your visibility and your opportunities. And, this is just how we've built so much of our business. It's been 99% through referrals and connections and networking and community and by being a mastermind. So if you are, just a plug to Align CEO Method, you can make your entire investment back for Align CEO Method with the network that you have access to. I've said this before on the podcast, but we have a handful of people who have told us directly that the reason they keep coming back to Align CEO Method is because they get so much of their clientele either from other Align CEOs directly or Align CEOs who refer them. we're such a collaborative, well-connected community that, you get access. Imagine you come into Align CEO Method and there's 40 plus other people in there. And let's just say you take 10 of them. Let's just say you take 10 people from that audience and you ask those 10 people if they could connect you with 5 other people that they know. Now you have 50 new people who you could be in front of, who you could bring value to, who you could sell to, who you could create transformation for. But you're too afraid to invest in putting yourself in a mastermind, for whatever reason. You think you're not going to make your money back. You think that you need one-to-one, whatever it might be, all the stories that people tell themselves. I am telling you, there's no greater return of investment in your business than joining a mastermind. And joining a mastermind that is very well connected and very collaborative. So that's the fourth way. I think you've really got to lean on your community and think about how to do collaborations. And then the last one of my faves, you got to switch your identity. You really do. You've got to switch your identity to match the money that you want. This is a big one. Strategy will only get you so far. If your mindset is not aligned, your strategy doesn't matter. If you are still operating from someone that identifies as, I'm someone who struggles to make sales, or nobody buys from me in Q4, my launch last fall didn't work, then you're reinforcing that identity. Instead, I want you to ask yourself, who do I need to be to hit this next money milestone? Maybe she's more consistent with her marketing. Maybe she's more visible. Maybe she's more bold in her ask. Maybe she invests in support. Maybe she doesn't overthink what to post or what to charge. I want you to embody that now. The end of the year could be when you collapse your timeline too. You could quantum leap. You can make so much money in the next 4 months if you shift your identity first. But if you're like, I can't be her until I've got the money in the bank, I can't be her until I have confirmation of a sale, it's backwards and you're going to stay stuck and you're going to stay broke. So I want you to really ask yourself those questions. Who do I need to be today? What has to change in my routine? How can I increase my confidence? What big, bold ask can I make? Am I willing to hear no 100 times before I hear yes? Can I get back up and keep going? Can I stop making excuses that I don't have time? If you want to make money and you are a business owner, you've got to prioritize it. You really do. That means shifting things around in your calendar. That means working with your energy when it is aligned and it is high. That means asking people in your family or your household or your friend group or whatever to give you the time and space to work on your business, because you get to treat your business the way a successful business owner treats their business, which is they prioritize it. They prioritize when and where and how they're doing their marketing. They prioritize when and where and how they're making their sales. They prioritize the help that they have in their business. So you can decide to keep being a little business owner who doesn't take their business seriously, or you can say, no, this is the quarter I step up, I make change, and I prove to myself I can actually make a whole bunch of money between now and the end of the year. So there you have it. Those are my 5 ways. Again, I could have given you 5, 10, 20, 50, but those are my 5 ways I would recommend you bring in money into your business before the end of the year. Repurpose and resell, get visible and make the ask, create a quick win offer, lean into your network and collaborations, and most importantly, step into the woman with the identity of the money and the life and the business that you desire. I'd love for you to take one of these and actually implement it this week. If you could do that for me, if you could send me a DM over on my Align Purpose Instagram and let me know that you listened to this podcast, which one you're taking action on, which one you feel excited about. I want to support you in making these money moves. So come hang out in our DMs, listen to this podcast, share it to your Instagram, share it with a friend. Come join us in Align CEO Method. We have our free week happening next week. It's all about money mindset. It's all about sales and marketing. It's called How to Build a $1 Million Brand. And if you feel like that is too far of a leap for you, too far of a gap, that's a mindset shift right there. Like, don't you want to have a profitable, impactful business? If 1 million just feels astronomical, okay, well, come take everything that you're hearing and apply it to 6 figures. Come take everything that you're hearing and apply it to 500,000. We're talking 1 million because we talk to primarily women business owners who want to make lots of money in their business. They want to have lots of resources and opportunities and create lots of impact for themselves and their families and their communities. So we're not playing small here. But if that number intimidates you, then just tweak it to what doesn't feel intimidating and come show up. And I would love if you shared it with your friends. So all you have to do is go to mylinepurpose.com/challenge, send that link to your friends. It will say, how did you hear about this? They can put your name in the little question box there. And we'd love to say thank you for you sharing it with your friends. And it would be so fun to spend next week with you. So Monday and Tuesday, you're going to get the challenge work sent to your email. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're going live. We're going live. We're doing live training. We're doing live coaching. We're doing hot seat coaching. You're going to get to meet everybody else who's there and and get to have those connections and collaborations. So if what you're leaning into to make more money by the end of the year is collaborations and making the big ask, then come get in this room so that you can make that happen. So you can meet new people and get in front of other communities. It's time you expand who you know, and it's time you expand who knows you and what you do so that you can so that you feel excited about your business. Okay, that's it for today, everybody. Thank you for listening to this episode, to each episode, for being here. We so value your listenership. And if you've not yet already left a rating and review over on Apple, that would mean the world to us. You just head over to Apple Podcast, you scroll to the bottom, you'll see there's little 5 stars there. If you could click 5 stars, leave a little review, that would mean the world. We're getting so close to 100 reviews and would love to have you there in the mix.